Hi, I'm Dave Stern, one of the partners and owners of the law firm Stern Cohen, workers' compensation lawyers. So a very common question that we get from clients at the outset of their case is, what's the timeline? How long is this going to take? And that's a natural question, a fair question, certainly a question I would ask a lawyer if I was involved in some type of litigation. So let me try to lay it out for you. Assuming that this is a case where we have gone to court in order to get you benefits, the case will play out as follows. At the first hearing, the judge will tell us that we have 90 days or 3 months to complete your case. So what's going to happen in those 90 days? We're going to most often take your deposition, which I will explain what that is in another video. And we're going to take a deposition of one of the doctors, or maybe more than one of the doctors, that you are treating with for your work injuries. So they can be your medical expert and support your claim. So all of that will take place within the first 90 days. The judge will then tell the employer and insurance company's lawyer that they have 90 days from that point to complete their case. So what's that going to involve? Usually they're going to get you examined by a doctor of their choosing, and they're going to take a deposition of that doctor. And they may also want to present certain witnesses from the employer if there are aspects of your case that they wish to contest through testimony from the employer or people that work for the employer. So that is normally a 90-day window as well. So 90 days for our case, 90 days for their case, that's 6 months. At that point, the judge will hold a hearing to close the case. Often you'll go in front of the judge on that date, and everything will then be done. Now, unlike what you might see on TV and movies, there's not a decision made by the judge at the hearing. Instead, at that final hearing, the judge will tell both sides to submit legal briefs. So we sit down, we summarize the evidence, we write to the judge why we should win, and of course, the defendant is doing the same thing. Typically, the judge will give about 2 to 3 months for that to occur as well, and then the judge is afforded some time in order to make a decision in your case. Again, another maybe 2 to 3 months. So when you add up all these windows of time, it comes out to around 1 year, sometimes a little more, depending on how things go in the case, sometimes a little less. Now, be mindful of the fact that in probably 2 out of 3 cases, if not more, it will settle. So do not get involved in this process and just assume that it's going to take a year or a little more to get an outcome in your case. More often than not, we are successful in resolving your case, resolving our clients' cases, and you'll get an outcome and a settlement and the opportunity to move on well before 1 year. But there are certain cases, for a variety of reasons, that have to go to the judge. And if that's the case, it will take a little longer, as I mentioned earlier. But more cases settle than don't, but that's going to depend on how things progress. And of course, as the case moves along, we will discuss this with you. We'll talk about that settlement option or whether this is a case that's going to need to go to the decision with the judge.